What's up, guys? We have Hector here, who won our first case tournament at Devastation a couple weeks ago, and we're gonna do a deck profile. So he's gonna show off his blue JJK deck.
It was best deck in format. We haven't done like enough testing for one punch, but we'll start off with 13 zeros. This is obvious, right? 2K early game triggered. You could play for this and maybe one of that, but just a 2K and being able to draw is really good. And most of the game you aren't rating this realistically until later, unless you have to. And then this is the other zero, best card in the deck probably. Especially like if you draw like 1-0 and then like it just gets you an out or something if you break. And then this ratio is probably the most one you could play with. So you could either go like 4-2 or 4-2. We stuck with 3-3 just because I feel like 3 is if you want to see one for sure. And like this card, you could argue this is probably the best card, but it has no trigger is the problem. And cards without triggers are usually bad cards.
Yeah, I definitely agree with the 3 just because I want to see it once, at least a game, you know? But I know some people play 4 of the Maki, but I think it's player preference.
Yeah, maybe you could go 2-3, but like everything else I feel like you can't change. There's like no room for it. 4 Yujis, obviously, you have to play this one. These are like all the energy producers. And then your raids, obviously the 4 Yuji. Arguably the best card, it's really good into purple. If you're doing like purple bleach, there's a lot of people playing purple bleach. Like this card is better than Sakura because they go behind whenever you do, especially if you get like rid of a raid, you're getting rid of the cards, which is really good for tempo. People play less than 4 of this for some reason, or maybe they play 2 Yujis, like the bounce one, and 2 of these. But this card, if you're ahead and you drop this, more than likely you have won the game because you draw 3. And because of how this deck plays in like the tempo, like if you're playing like these shitters up really aggressively early and they're lower on life, you could like take some life for free and then just play this. Or this with a domain expansion, for example, is also huge. And then this is the best card when you're at 15 or less, but most of the time, unless you're like really ahead, you're not getting the effect off of it. But the block thing, where he basically blocks 2 damage, is fucking massive. Realistically, if you could drop him and you're not afraid of losing him, like, because it's a really bad card if they get a special life. So you just lost like something that could have saved you 2 life. So you gotta try to like raid later on in the game, not too early, unless you're like forced to. 4 fingers, obviously, the break of the deck. Because you could draw like 2 zeros and then this, and you're like, oh, I'm going to be able to play. But since it's not a character, it's not an energy producer, it's a brick. 4 domain, obviously, and then 4 pop. This is probably the main reason you play Nanami. Into Lancelot, it bottom decks the 6 drop. There's like a bunch of cards that say stuff like when sideline, and because this just bottom decks or top decks, it's massive. And for example, the other one you need a UG. This you don't need one for it to do the effect. And a lot of times as well, like if you're ahead and they don't have any good cards on board, you could bounce a bad card to the top of their deck, and then they're forced to draw into it, and they just maybe have lost another turn. Right, because for a turn they would just draw into that same bad card or that same brick. But I think this deck was for sure the best deck in the format. The only problem I had was breaking like any other deck because you're playing the fingers. The fingers aren't energy. But now that One Punch Man came out, we're like testing it now. The sister seems really good with Saitama. And then I played this on Monday in Coastal Miami and went, I think it was 4-0. First matchup was Purple Bios. I feel like it's a really bad matchup for this deck. But I got lucky that they didn't draw a Kalin for Gerd or a, what's the other fucking card. Or
The Wayne?
Dwayne, exactly. So I won that match. The second game was against Green, One Punch Man. If they summon Silver Fang early and you have no Sukunas, more than likely you lost the game. That's like fucking insane. Like if they have two Record, you can't get rid of it. But if they don't draw it, you win with almost any deck that has like people that like if you're rush deck, you win. Third game was against Garo. It was really close because he had like 2 pops in life or something. But again, this is like a mid-range deck, and Garo isn't that aggressive because he needs cards in grave. So if you can just be a little bit more aggressive before they get there in your head, they'll never be able to like clap back or anything. And then the last one was Lancelot, and I just drew really good, and he had no trades in life. It's like that's the life of Lancelot because it's like a ramp deck. At the end, like if you can't last longer, like you can't last a long time, and you have 0 life. When you start dropping your bomb, more than likely you lose as well. But they have like a really high chance of coming back as well because of the cards are so strong. That was yesterday playing this deck into the one punch for like something updated. But in Devastation, I got the bye first round. Second round was Bleach. I lost that round. Purple Bleach. He like summoned a bunch of shares and shit on me. Third round was Purple Codios. Wasn't close. And then last round was Tanjiro Nezuko. And then it was top 4 cut to those case survey. I wanted to try like best of 3. And I went against a Purple Bleach guy again, 2-0'd him pretty easily. And that's where I learned where like summoning Yuji is way better than summoning Sukuna if you have both in here, just because you gain tempo off of it. And then the last round was Purple Bleach again. That was like the deck profile, and I guess for like we started using these sleeves. I don't remember what the guy's called.
FCBC.
But
great sleeves.
I think Dragon Shoes are dog shit now. I'm not sure what happened to them, but these have been like great. I've had like no problem with these so far. Katanas are like good sleeves as well, but these are like cut. Well, Katanas like the cards like right up.
Yeah, definitely these sleeves feel cut pretty well.
Like they end up like this usually for Katana sleeves. So these sleeves are like doing really, really well. Like shuffle and everything, I have no problem with it. Maybe like they grip a little bit too hard, but it could be this matte. And I just like play on cloth. So I guess my opinion for like the grip is
Well,
a little biased.
shout out to Hector. He's our local legend. He tops or wins literally every tournament we run for UA. So hope you guys enjoy the deck profile. Anything you want to shout out?
The BBL boys, and then hopefully this brand sponsor me from the love off mountain. All guns are hard to get.
Hell yeah. Thank you guys.